Thank you for joining us at FTP Sports Games. This video is going to cover some example shifts of play using the Ringside Hockey Game Center and between the Pittsburgh Penguins and the Philadelphia Flyers, a game I have set up here from the 1992-93 season. So again, I've already went through and set up the game, opened the Ringside Hockey Game Center, saved it under a matchup and a date so that you can access it in case your computer crashes or the power goes out or you need to save and then come back to it later. I already entered all the information in, Pittsburgh at Philadelphia using the drop-down menus, the team codes, and then I went ahead and pasted the goalies in, Tom Barrasso for the Penguins and Tommy Soderstrom for the Philadelphia Flyers. Went through and chose to bring in the dressed players for the game and paste those in their respective sections down here, like was outlined and talked about in the tutorial and the walkthrough of the Ringside Hockey Game Center on our YouTube channel. So we're ready to get this action started here between Pittsburgh and Philadelphia. So we go back over to the Game Center, and you see here that we're actually starting this with a pregame skate. So we slide down. We already hit this button here to put it into the first period, and we're going to see what our pregame skate brings us. So the first thing we notice down here is we're going to do a number check of the goalies. This number is compared against each goalie's goalie rating number. 85 is above Barrasso's rating of 41, so he doesn't start the game in a good game mode or a bad game mode, so he's just in normal mode. But when we look back, Tommy Soderstrom, this section down here called for him to have a bad game if this number is above his goalie rating. So when we go back, we see that he has a rating of 37, so it is above his rating, and he is in fact going to start the game with a bad rating. So Soderstrom is in a bad rating, meaning that any shot he sees, you have to use this green number here, which is obviously lower than his other save numbers, and so he didn't have a good pregame skate, and he's going to start off in a bad game rating. And Barrasso's just in a normal rating since the number wasn't low enough to be within his good game rating. Now on the officials, we see here that it says let them play, so we need to choose that from the drop-down menu, and it will change the frequency with which penalties are called. So in the pregame skate, we see that Soderstrom's going to start out in a bad game rating, Barrasso's in a normal game rating, and the officials are going to let him play. So we're ready to get this started. So we go up here, and the first thing we're going to do is have the center ice face-off between Mario Lemieux, who has a face-off rating of 11, and Eric Lindros, who has a face-off rating of 8. Lemieux has an advantage of 3, and that is added to 10 to give a range using a 1 through 20 random number. So the difference is 3. You add it to 10. Lemieux has a 1 through 13 chance of winning the face-off, and Lindros has a 14 through 20 chance. And the face-off rating isn't just the player's face-off skill independently. It also combines with the team's possession, ability, and stuff like that. So it's not just a strict face-off rating. It has to also do with puck control and possession and stuff like that figures into the rating. So let's get this one started. We click back over here, and we're going to have the face-off at center ice. And this is the face-off section here with the win number and the controlling player. So we click face-off, the play result number, and 8 is within Lemieux's range. So the face-off is one back to the left defenseman. And as play develops, we see over here, since they have the puck in the neutral zone, we proceed immediately to a neutral zone play. And we see, as outlined in the Ringside Hockey Game instructions, the neutral zone is arranged like a stoplight. Red, yellow, and green. Red meaning that the defense is well set up in a position to make plays as long as the players are rated well and to stop an easy offensive zone entry. Yellow means it slows down and matchups develop between players, or the offense may be called to do certain specific things. And green means that the neutral zone is wide open so that the offensive player is unimpeded as he skates through the neutral zone. So in this case, we see that Lemieux here is in possession of the puck. The neutral zone is rated green, so he simply skates into the zone, and we mark a time sequence. We click the time button. Anytime a team enters the zone, unless it's in a penalty kill power play scenario, anytime they're in even strength, when they enter the zone, you mark off a time sequence. So Lemieux skates into the zone, and anytime a player gains the zone, we need to check what is called the blue number. And it's these numbers up here. We've got a set of numbers here for the visiting team and a set of numbers here for the home team. It's random numbers 1 through 100, 1 through 20. 1 through 100, 1 through 20, and then this number down here is 1 through 10. All of that was explained in the tutorial and the walkthrough. So Lemieux's in the zone. We need to check this number here to see if it is within either his setup range or his quality shot range, and it is. 8 is low enough, and it's actually within both. And so whenever it's in both, you use the odd and even rule. And we have a few scenarios like that in ringside hockey where you use an odd or an even number to determine what happens. 8 is even, so you use the quality shot. So Lemieux gains the zone, and he skates into a dangerous position, and he's going to get a quality shot. So we need to resolve it. Click the Play Result button, and we need to check to see if this is within his shot target range. It is. It's well within that. But remember, when you read the instructions, it's over 50, so that makes it an easier shot for the goalie to see and save. All right, so Lemieux's shot is on target. Right here, there's no one blocking it, no one screening it, no posts are hit, etc., etc. So it's on target. And now we need to use this number to check against Soderstrom's save rating. And anytime you check a goalie's save, you've got the combined number 38, but you're splitting those into 2 digits, the 3 and the 8. The 3 on an easy shot to see fits within Soderstrom's save and cover range, and the 8 tells you that it's a blocker save. All right, so he makes the save and covers, and so anytime a goalie covers, you mark off a time sequence, and 1 minute is gone. So now there's a defensive zone draw for the Flyers. Again, we're just going to stick with the same skaters for this whole these few example shifts here. So we go back. Lemieux has a face-off rating of 11. Lindros an 8, so Lemieux is favored by 3, and he wins the draw back to Sean McEachern. So Sean McEachern now has control of the puck. So McEachern is not as highly skilled as Lemieux or Yager or a Lindros or a Recchi, as his offense and setup and quality shot ratings are a little bit lower. So let's just say, though, that McEachern tries to take the face off and get a quality shot for himself. Get a new play result number, and we use this number to check that. And 4 is above McEachern's quality shot rating, so he's not able to make the play. And because 4 is even, we're going to find out if the defense is able to place a hit on, because anytime a play isn't made by an offensive player and the result number is even, then the defense, according to their hitting strategy, may lay on the body, but if it's odd, it proceeds to a loose puck scenario. So in this case, it was even, and we see if a player is able to make a hit. Over here, we don't see a player listed, and during the course of that play, there was a high stick, so the puck was played by an offensive player with a high stick, so the face-off immediately moves to the neutral zone ice. So the play ended before anybody had a chance to lay the body on. So we move out to center ice. We don't mark a time sequence because we only do that when you enter the zone on even strength, and when the puck is frozen down, and any time a puck is dead or played over the glass, etc., in the defensive zone. So we move back to center ice, and let's get another face-off. So this time it's within Lindros's face-off win rating, and so the left winger is matched up against the right defenseman, and it's scenario red, which means the defense is well set up. That's Larry Murphy. Pelle Eklund has the puck, but Murphy is well set up, and he has the defense rating of 9. And in this scenario, we use the random number of 1 through 10, and so Larry Murphy has 9 out of 10 chances of stopping the zone entry right at the blue line. So it doesn't make sense to try and get by him. So instead, let's just have Pelle Eklund, who has control of the puck, let's just have him dump it in. Before we do that, though, because the puck has entered the zone, you click another time sequence, and you're going to go over here to the dump and chase section, and it says that a D battle is going to happen in the right corner, and because it's a D battle, you look here. This is the defensive player on a dump and chase, and this would be the offensive player. So the left defenseman in the right corner is going to battle for the puck. That's Ulf Samuelsson, and he has a defensive battle rating of 20 and a physical rating of 9. So we get new numbers. 17 is within his battle rating, but above the physical rating, so he makes the play, but he doesn't he doesn't, get a hit or anything like that, and 77 is lower than his penalty draw rating. So he does make the play, and now Pittsburgh has control of the puck, and they're going to try and break out of the zone. When we look down here, because Pittsburgh has the puck, this is the breakout forecheck section, and down here it says forecheck center. That means that Eric Lindros is now going to try and apply forecheck pressure deep in the zone, and his defensive forecheck rating is 16. So we go back over, get a new result number, it's 20. So 20 is above his rating, and he has a penalty commit number of 61, but it's below that, so he doesn't commit a penalty. He's not able to be successful on the forecheck, meaning he doesn't keep the puck pinned in deep in the pen zone, and so the puck gets out to center ice. So now we see that Lemieux, the center, has control of the puck, and again, it's a neutral zone red scenario. That means that Gary Galley is set up in the neutral zone with a defensive rating of 6, so that really doesn't favor Lemieux, since he has a 60%, 6 out of 10 chance of stopping Lemieux at the neutral zone. So Lemieux, seeing that, he simply probably just dumps it in. So click another time sequence, and we look over here under the dump and chase scenario. So we see that the dump in, the result of the dump in occurs in a way that creates at the slot area a risky play for the goalie. So you've got an option here. The goalie can attempt to make a risky play on the puck, or he can allow, in this case, the left winger to simply gain control of the puck in a dangerous offensive scenario. Let's say that Soderstrom decides to stay back, so he's just going to let McEachern skate onto the puck in a dangerous scenario. We click the result number, and we see that if this blue number here, the number 1 through 20, is within McEachern's offensive rating and high quality shot rating, and it is. So Soderstrom didn't want to make the risky play. McEachern skates onto the puck, and now he's on it in a high quality, dangerous situation. So we need to see what happens. We're going to resolve the shot. Is he's going to get a shot on goal? And there you go. 18 is within McEachern's shot target range of 81, so it's on goal. No one is here to block it. It doesn't hit the post or anything like that. And remember that Soderstrom is in a bad game rating, so we use this number to check against his green save number, since that's his lowest save number, and it is indeed above that. And then you check the accompanying number, that's a blue number 1 through 20. That's above his great save range. So the goalie, when Soderstrom decided not to make a risky play, it completely backfired on him. McEachern skated onto the puck, and he was able to fire that one home for a goal. So anytime a goal is scored, click over here, and then choose between the different goal scenarios. It was a dangerous goal. A scenario scored from a dangerous goal because McEachern skated onto it, and it was in his high quality shot rating. So the player skates onto the puck and fires a slap shot off the post and in. So he beats him. And because it happened on a dump in, again, this isn't a stick touch by stick touch game. Instead, it's more like a dot to dot kind of a flowing game. So anytime a goal is scored, you look here, and it says that the number of assisting players on the goal. There's 2 players. All right, it starts with the highest setup rated player, and it goes up, and the player has to have a setup rating of at least 4. So when we look back, McEachern scored the goal, and Lemieux is the highest setup rated player, and you go up. So whenever it says to go up, you click down to the bottom, right? Because you can't. If it were to go down, it would move from Lemieux to either Murphy or Yager. Instead, you go up, and so it goes from Lemieux to Ole Samuelson, who is skipped because he doesn't have the required number. It was 4. You needed to have a setup rating of 4, and he only has 3. So now it's either going to be Murphy or Yager on the other assist, and it's a forward. You split those ties by forward or right-left. So McEachern, right, scores a goal, and he was set up by Lemieux and Yager. So you reset this, click back over to the game center, score the goal. Make sure you give them the momentum bump, and then we go over to the score sheet. We're going to tally that one, and it happened at 2 minutes and 4 seconds. So this lets you know the exact time that's elapsed. If this were past like 1:30, 2:30, 3:30, it would be that, and this would be the amount of seconds. Instead, it's 2 minutes and 4 seconds into the game. So we go over here and mark 2 and 4. Give McEachern a goal, and he was set up by Lemieux and Yager. Alright, So that's it. The Penguins are up 1-0. So let's start again. Let's have a center-ice face-off. Lindros wins this one because that's within his range. The face-off controlling player was the lefty. The puck gets kicked over to the right winger, and he's against Mario Lemieux. Mario Lemieux, the center, is well set up in the neutral zone. He has a rating of 8. That's pretty high. So instead, Recchi, he ought to just dump that one in. So he does, and on the dump and chase, it says that it calls in the left corner a forecheck for the left defenseman. We go over here. Gary Galley has an offensive forecheck rating of 8. Get a new number. That's above it, so he's not able to do anything on the forecheck to allow the offense to pick up the puck. And anytime the bonus of dump and chase is that you can start to tally hits, etc., etc. We need to check to see if that's within his physical rating. It is. So they get a hit, but he's not able to do anything to gain puck possession for his team. And then we go down here, and if this, we check the retaliating type hit. If this called for the Penguins to hit, because this is their, according to their defensive strategy, it says whether they're going to hit. And again, all this is covered in the instructions. And so Lemieux is not going to try and lay on the body there, and we immediately move to the breakout forecheck section. And this calls for pressure, and that's Lindros, the center. That means he's going to try and provide with his defensive forecheck rating pressure in the zone to keep the puck pinned in. And it is. That is within his puck pressure rating, the defensive forecheck rating of 2. And so whenever it's pressure, the value of that is that if he creates the pressure, his team gains control of the puck. So the puck slides over to Gary Galley, and let's try and have him set up a player. 5 is within his setup range. Who's going to be set up? It calls for a B player. That's going to be Pele Eklund. So Gary Galley is able to set up Eklund, and now he's going to fire a shot on goal. All right, so this number here, we check that against his target range, which is 80, so that's inside of it. The right winger, Recchi was around the net, but he has a net rating of 6. That's over that, so it makes its way on goal. And it's not a dangerous shot since it's over 50. And normally doubles would call for a net scramble, but if it's not a dangerous shot for the goalie to face, then you check this against the goalie's rebound rating, which is 15 for Barrasso, and he covers with the glove. Because again, we split these two numbers. This is within his cover range, and that's within his glove area. So he saves that, freezes it, and covers, and that's it. So 3 minutes have gone by. Let's have another face-off. So Lindros against Lemieux. This time Lemieux wins it back to the left defenseman. And down here it calls for the right D-man to try a breakout. That's Larry Murphy. He has a breakout number of 22 and a headman rating of 5. Click the result number, and 20 is high enough to be in his breakout rating, and also 99 is above his draw penalty rating. But when we look over here at the ref, remember we chose let him play in the pregame skate, so the ref, it might have been a penalty, but he chose not to call it, and so Larry Murphy gets the puck out to center, and it's to the left winger, Sean McEachern, and it's a neutral zone red scenario. Gary Galley's set up there. He has a high rating of 6. If this were like 1 or 2 or 3, it might be worth going around, but instead McEachern just going to dump that one in deep, and this calls for a D battle in the right corner, and that's the left defenseman. Gary Galley has a battle rating of 18 and a physical rating of 8. Click the number. It's within his battle rating, so he wins the battle, but it's not low enough to lay on a hit, and he wins that, and the puck kicks over to the right defenseman for a breakout. That's Dmitry Yushkevich. Get a new number. 17 is above Yushkevich's breakout number. So we go down here to a failed breakout and see the result of that bad breakout is that the other team, the D, controls the puck in the neutral zone. So at the end of all that, McEachern has the puck, and basically it's the same scenario again. McEachern has it. Galley's well set up. Well, let's try and do something different. Let's say he tries to skate around him. He doesn't. This is within Galley's defensive rating, right? It's in his defensive rating, but not within his neutral zone hitting area. And so he is able to stop McEachern from gaining the zone. And you go down here to see what happens on a failed neutral zone play, and it calls for even more physical play. The right winger, is that in his physical number? Yep, so Recchi gets a hit at center in the neutral zone area, and now they have the puck. So Recchi has the puck, and against McEachern. McEachern has a defensive rating of 5. Let's have Recchi try and skate around him. All right, that's over McEachern's rating, and it's not high enough to draw a penalty. So we see that Recchi skates into the zone, and we check this number against both of those, and he doesn't do anything additional as he skates in. So now he's in the zone with offensive options. Let's say he tries to get a quality shot. So that's 2 and 88. 2 is within his quality shot range, and 88 is close to, but not close enough to his draw penalty range. So he skates into a dangerous area and fires a shot on net. Let's see if 83 is in his shot target range. It is. And this call is either here. All right, so for the left defenseman, he either blocks the shot, or if he's not, he attempts to block the shot and he actually screens the goalie. 9 is above his blocked shot rating. So now Barrasso's facing a screen shot rating. So this is on target, and it's a low quality shot, but it doesn't matter since it was screened. We check it against his green number. It's well beneath that, obviously. And then anytime a goalie faces a screen or a tip shot, etc., rebound, you're checking his rebound control number. That's within his low number. Again, as you read in the instructions, there's 2 rebound control numbers, a low number and a high number. The low number is 1 through 10, and the high number is 11 through 20. So when you're looking for the low number, just simply remove this first digit. So the 6 is the low number rating, and 4 is within that, so he covers the puck. So screened in front, dangerous scenario, but Barrasso ends up seeing that, and we give Philadelphia a shot on goal. So we got 4 minutes gone. Let's do another face-off. This time Lemieux controls it, and a zone regroup. This is a forechecking strategy that actually calls for the team to actually drop back and set up in the neutral zone. So they do, so that's an automatic breakout, and you're going to use this player here to determine who is set up in the neutral zone. So Lemieux has it against Recchi. Recchi has a defensive rating of 4, so let's have Lemieux try and skate around him. Yep, and that's above that, and 45 is not within his commit penalty range, so Lemieux skates into the zone. Let's have a look at this number. It's within both of his setup and quality shot range, but it's even. Again, in ringside hockey, we have the even and odd rule that helps kind of determine when 2 things are possible. So in this scenario, anytime you're using a zone entry, etc., and the numbers within both ratings, if it's odd, use the setup. If it's even, use the quality shot. So Lemieux skates into a dangerous area, fires a shot on goal, and this number 54 is within Lemieux's shot target range, but it calls for a screen to take place. Well, Lemieux is the player with the puck, so this ends up being a power move where he kind of lowers the shoulder and shields the puck from the defenseman and the goalie and kind of powers his way to the net. So he does get it on goal, and we're going to check this since, remember, Soderstrom is in a bad game rating, and 78 is close but not high enough to be a goal. Lemieux gets that one on net, and because it's not a dangerous shot, 78 was the shot number. We see here that means the puck was saved by Soderstrom off of his blocker or stick, and it bounces over into the corner. So Lemieux gets a shot on goal. And now we proceed to a zone play, loose puck scenario. This calls for the right defenseman in the right corner to lay on the body. That is Dmitry Yuskevich. So we get a play result number, and 1 is low enough to be within his hit and big hit range, and 14 is obviously not low enough to draw a penalty. So he gets a hit and a big hit, and now they get to try and break out of the zone, except that right here Lemieux is going to pressure the puck because the breakout forecheck scenario calls for him to try and pressure the puck. He has a rating of 34. Again, this is a special rating, and when you read through the instructions, since the result number is 1 through 20, 20 is the highest number, but you're wondering, okay, so why does Lemieux have a 34? In that case, you split those numbers. You take anything over 20, and you use that as a secondary rating. So 1 through 14 for that in that example, and when we get a play result number, that means that is within 1 through 14. So we've got a play result number of 8. And under any normal other player, like that would be over McEachern's defensive forecheck rating, Yuskevich's, it would be inside of Mark Recchi's. But because Lemieux has a rating over 20, you actually you split that and you create 2 different numbers, and so that makes a secondary number of 1 through 14, where if it's within that, and it is, that's 8, then not only does he pressure the puck, but he gets the puck himself again. So let's say he digs that one out, tries to set up a teammate. 3 is within his setup range, so he's going to set someone up. It calls for an A-rated skater and a forward, so that's Yager. So Lemieux sets up Yager for a shot on goal, and it's on target, right? But does the centerman block or screen it? And Lindros does block the shot, so give them a block shot, loose, and it's a loose puck scenario. and the left winger has a chance to play the puck near the slot. That is Pele Eklund. He has a defensive rating of 5. Get a new number that is within his defensive rating and hit rating. So he recovers the puck, lays on the body, and now the Flyers have the puck in their own zone. They're going to try a breakout. That's the left D-man. Gary Galley has a breakout rating of 18 and a headman of 3. Click the result number. All right, headman pass. Great. So he's able to connect on a headman pass. We look up here. It's an odd man rush. It's a 2-on-1. He plays the puck to the centerman, and then we check to see the left defender. He's the one that's trying to break that up, if that's within his rating. And it is. It's within Ulf Samuelsson's defensive rating. He breaks that up, and the failed rush / transition play means that the puck goes clear back down into the Flyer zone, and a dump and chase ensues. So we look down here. This calls for an offensive battle behind the net and the right winger. Get a result number. It's 9. And Yager has an offensive battle number of 6, so he's not able to dig out the puck. And so, because he fails to do so, this calls for the left defenseman to try and get a hit on. 5 is within Gary Galley's hit number, so the play wasn't made and the Flyers get a hit, and now they have possession of the puck. Again, and so we see here under the forecheck breakout section that this calls for the Penguins to actually kind of regroup in the neutral zone. So let's get a new number, and up here we see that the right defenseman is set up in the neutral zone. That's Larry Murphy. Good rating. Go ahead and dump that one in, and icing is the call, and nothing happens after whistle. So that it starts to happen real quick, just like that. So after you get set up and after you become familiar with the different ratings and how to use the game center back and forth between the two teams, it really becomes as quick as clicking the button, seeing what the rating is, glancing at the players that you have laid out in front of you, etc., and then just kind of dot to dot following the action. From the offensive zone to the breakout to the neutral zone, gaining the zone, dumping chases, breakouts, rushes, etc., etc. And it starts to happen pretty quickly. So most periods can be played within 12 to 18 minutes, depending on how many penalties are called or fights are called, etc., etc. So when you have two teams that are playing in a forecheck strategy of 1, meaning that they don't apply a lot of forecheck pressure, they're mainly choosing to just drop back, regroup in the neutral zone. You'll find right away that not a lot of action is happening. It's more like a left wing lock or a trap scenario from the 90s when that became popular, and the two teams are just kind of dumping and chasing and seeing if they can dig anything out, and it starts to slow the game down. If you want to play early 80s hockey, put both teams into forecheck 3, and you'll see a lot of rush attempts, a lot of stretch passes, etc., etc., and it can create a lot of very exciting end-to-end action. So as you start to play ringside hockey and you use the computer game center, the more you become familiar with this, the more the games start to move along very quickly and flow very quickly. Obviously it can't in this scenario because I'm doing a lot of talking and explaining in between things, but as soon as you learn what those basic ratings are for the players and where to get the random numbers 1 through 20, 1 through 10, etc., etc., it'll start to fly for you, and you'll have some real fun back-to-back end-to-end games, defensive struggles, goalies standing on their heads, etc., etc. So after the first few shifts of this game, Pittsburgh is up 1-0 on the Flyers, and it's a good start. So thank you for joining us at FTP Sports Games.